Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This series is all about spiritual awakening and spiritual growth. So what we're going to talk about on this episode is what to do when you feel like your spiritual awakening has just stopped.
And no one's there, and you wonder who even cares.
So what is spiritual awakening? Spiritual awakening is basically your initiation onto your new life, to a new and beautiful spiritual journey and a spiritual path just meant for you. That's what a spiritual awakening means to me. So when we feel like our spiritual awakening has come to an abrupt stop, it doesn't feel so good, does it? The spiritual awakening can come in like an actual tornado, just taking over our bodies, our minds, as well as our lives, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I know my spiritual awakening really did, but that's because it's like the alarm clock. It's like the alarm clock that goes off in the morning. It's your wake-up call to live this new life. It's a wake-up call. It's a gift. A spiritual awakening is truly, truly a gift. So that's why today we're going to talk about maybe what you're feeling or what you're experiencing and what you can do if maybe you feel like your spiritual awakening has just kind of slowed down, or it's just like, am I still going through a spiritual awakening or what? I know I asked this question to myself probably over a year ago when I journaled. I started vlogging my first series of spiritual awakening, and I wanted to do like a vlog diary of how my spiritual awakening was going, yada, 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 yada. And in that video, I mentioned that in one of those videos, might have been part 1 or part 2, it was a while ago, but I did say my spiritual awakening just stopped. I wish I could pull from that video and put it into this video, but I said that, and I didn't even think about it until I was making this video, that I myself was that person going through a spiritual awakening or has gone through a spiritual awakening, and then at one point during the process felt like it just stopped. But it doesn't, I promise you, it doesn't stop. Also, by the way, guys, because a spiritual awakening can be so alarming and so confusing, it was very frustrating and confusing to me. It is very important that you know what stage of spiritual awakening you're even in. To even understand this video, you probably want to know what stage of spiritual awakening are you in, and we did go over this in a couple of videos. I will leave a link down below in the comment box, in the description box, so that you guys can refer back to that video of mine on spiritual awakening and the stages that you go through, along with basically some of the things that I went through during my spiritual awakening. So the link will be left after this video. Like I said, it's really important to kind of understand what you're experiencing. It's also important to know what stage of spiritual awakening you are going through. So again, check that video out. It is in the link below. And so basically, what are some of the symptoms, or maybe like, how might you be feeling if you're experiencing a loss of connection? Do you kind of feel like you're not as spiritually connected anymore? Like maybe you started seeing angel numbers, maybe you started being able to connect with your spirit guides, and then all of a sudden you couldn't hear or see or communicate with them anymore, things like that. Maybe you weren't seeing as much synchronicity in your life. Anything like that. For me, it was a lot of different things, and it just really frustrated me even further. So that's what we're going to cover today, and I welcome any of your questions if you still have them, if you're still early on in the process, or if you've gone through the process. I'd love to hear from you guys too, and what stage of spiritual awakening are you in right now? Whoever's watching this video, let me know in the comments below if you're going through a spiritual awakening or have been through one. What stage are you in right now? I am in stage 5. What stage are you in? Next up, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about what it feels like when your spiritual connection is at a loss. So one of the reasons why you might feel like your spiritual awakening has just come to a complete stop is maybe because you're dealing with a lot of shit. You're dealing with a lot of shit. I dealt with a lot of shit. My dark nights are not, they're not good, man. They're not good, and they last a long time, and they're pretty bad. They're like really bad lows, man. But, yes, anyways, I totally get off my point, and he's my baby. Say hello to my co-host. Kisses for mom. Say hi, Diesel. He's not going to sit here long because he is like so heavy. So hold on a second, guys. Adjust myself. So anyways, the reason why it feels like it just shuts down or it slows down is because you are really having to take a really hard, deep look at yourself. Like, spiritual awakening is deep, and most people don't understand. You have to be ready to go through all of this. So maybe you're not ready at the moment. Maybe it feels like it's slowing down because you're mentally not ready. So maybe you're not even aware of it, but maybe you're mentally slowing it down subconsciously because you're not ready to deal with everything that's coming up. So that could be a cause. I'm not saying that it is, and I am no professional. I'm just saying that that could be a cause of why you're feeling this way. So, and another thing could be distractions that come up in our lives. Sometimes even just our daily lives, you know, life can be overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes I want to be on my couch with my TV and my dogs. I also have a black lab. She's very high strung. But, yeah, sometimes I just don't want to even be, you know what I mean? I don't want to deal. So it's like we can get easily distracted during our spiritual awakenings. Let me give you another example. I don't know if this is going to be a good example, but when I started my spiritual awakening, I was super excited. And the problem is I overwhelmed myself with so much information from like here, from there. And I mean, I wanted to learn everything and do everything when I started my journey. So I think I just overwhelmed my brain and I like fried it out or something. So you have to think about distractions that happen in your life. Not like I said, just the major things. It can be your everyday life and life just gets in the way. It can be maybe you just lost your job and now it's like you're not there yet. So you're kind of feeling like, how am I supposed to continue on this spiritual journey when I feel like, shit, I just lost my job. Yeah, life is great, you know? And we allow ourselves to get in these moments. It's kind of hard not to when you're in the moment instead of looking at your glass half full and trying to think of the next step. Like, okay, this is what happened to me, so what can I do about it? A lot of us just dwell in that moment, and I'm guilty of doing that. I still try to make those changes in my life today. I am not perfect. I am always going to be a work in progress, but distractions and letting go of the ego, letting go of the old self can be huge setbacks in our lives, and they can be very, very, very hard for us to personally deal with. It can show up everywhere in your life, physically and mentally, because it does take a big toll on you, depending on what it is that you need to let go of, what you need to release, any karmic cycles that you need to live out or anything like that. It really depends on the person. That's why I'll always tell you that everybody's spiritual awakening journey is completely different. But distractions and letting go and dealing with this new life that is upon us now, this new journey, this new spiritual path that we're on is very huge. So sometimes, like I said, subconsciously, we can be slowing it down ourselves because we need to take a breather for a moment and get our focus back. And most importantly, we need to ground ourselves again to why we started this journey. But I promise you, your spiritual awakening, it didn't stop. It didn't stop. It's still there. Once you are awake, you will always be awake. That's one thing I can assure you of. I'm going to put him down and continue and end this video. So hold on, guys. Thank you for your patience. Say bye. Hold on, guys. Come closer. A little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. Can you hear me? Good. You're still awakening. I promise. Hi guys, we're back talking about the spiritual awakening. Of course we're talking about the spiritual awakening. We are talking about what it's like when it feels like our spiritual awakening has just gone kaput. Stopped, shut off, beep. So, you gotta think of it this way. You know when you go to an amusement park and you're on a crazy ride and you get this super rush of adrenaline and you're going on all these rides all day, one after the other, between like the waiting in line, then finally getting onto the ride and like having that super, super high. And then at the end of the day, you're just like exhausted, but then you hit that like, like my sound effects. You hit that like major low. Well, it's kind of like spiritual awakening, if you think about it. I mean, it really is. So when you're in a spiritual awakening, you get just like this whirlwind of new ideas and new thoughts. You become a new person slowly, right? At least I did. I mean, a lot of people that I talk to just think they become like a completely different person. You're just wanting to go to new stores, like you want to visit now metaphysical stores. Maybe you never went. You want to buy crystals. You're going to the bookstore, buying books on spirituality and meditation. You're trying meditation. Maybe you're trying to do some spell work, or you're on YouTube Googling spiritual awakening journeys and stuff like that. I went through that too. So you're going through all these different changes and emotions. And on top of that, guys, you're also going through some of the bad stuff in the beginning too, like letting go of the ego. That's a big one. That's a huge one. And it's probably, I'm about to fall off my chair. All right. My dog is staring at me. Oh my God. Diesel, come here, Bubba. Come in. Come in. He's scared. I don't think he's going to jump up here, but we'll see if we can get him in camera. But anyways, you're going through such a whirlwind of emotions. You're going through ups and downs. You're going through some really, really low lows and some really high highs. So when all of that stuff just comes to a halt, you're going to notice it. You're really going to notice it. And I know when mine did, I said it in a video. I said, all of a sudden, my spiritual awakening just stopped. Because for me, my spiritual awakening started over 10 years ago, and it felt like it stopped because I don't remember being like very enlightened. I don't remember taking any of those lessons with me through those years. I just remember a lot of dark years. And I mean, I'm exaggerating because there were some good years in between, but I was actually going through the dark night of the soul, and I was just having little bursts of good days in between, good days, good months, good weeks, but it was a lot more of a dark energy that I was going through, and I really had to just learn how to transmute that energy, which I have. I'm still learning to transmute my energy. It's not easy to transmute everything, and if you guys know what I mean by transmuting energy, you'll know that it's just not as easy as when people just say to shut out certain things. I'm still working on it. I'm at stage 5, guys. So anyway, it's a huge change in your life. So when it shuts down, you're going to feel it, guys, okay? Spiritual awakening is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful gift. I think the most important thing we need to learn is patience and trust the process. Trust that everything is going to happen for the better, for the betterment of ourselves, for our spiritual journey, for our lives in general. Just trust your journey and trust your progress thus far, and just kind of like let it be, you know. when you're going through this phase where you feel like you're not connected, maybe you need to work on maybe doing some more, some grounding exercises. And if anybody is not familiar at all with exactly what grounding is and what you can do for it, leave it in the comment box below. These are all topics that are close to my heart and I'm pretty well versed in. If you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to answer anything that you guys may not understand when I'm talking about something. But be inspired. Continue to be inspired for what brought you to this journey. Whatever it is, we all have unique stories of what brought us to our spiritual journeys, what started us on the spiritual path. So continue to be inspired. I have a book called The Artist's Way, and it's such a good book. But let me tell you, I wish that I brought it downstairs with me. In my next video, I'm going to make a point. And no, I'm not going to go stick a bookmark in a particular part in the book and make up a lie. This is a true story. I started doing this book, and it's a lot of deep work. And just like Spiritual Awakening, I think the only answer to why I just completely stopped using the book that was helping me so much, and I was using it every single day, is because it overwhelmed me. And instead of just saying, you know what, I'm just going to take this part of what they're telling me to do, and I'm going to fit it into my life the way it fits into my life the best. Sometimes we can't just read a book and it's telling us, well, on day 1, we have to do steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we just get overwhelmed and frustrated. And then, like, what good did the book do for us? You know, it didn't do what its intention to do for us was. So there's a certain part of the book you can see where I stopped and I haven't read another page, and I still haven't read another page. I actually just took it out today thinking of this video and wanting to show you guys ways that you can stay inspired during your spiritual awakening when you feel like you have no connection anymore, and ways to stay inspired and keep that spark alive. So The Artist's Way, like I said, I stopped this book because it's a lot of hard work and it makes you look at yourself. And for me, I'm a writer, so it was a lot of writing, and then rereading the stuff that I wrote was just like even more like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, you just want certain things to just go away, but you have to recognize them first and go through the process before you can entirely let certain things in your life go. Sorry, my nails are like god awful right now, and I wear press-on nails, by the way. I just put a little dot of extra glue and they stay on. Like, they're awesome, girls. Like, I swear, I'm telling you, I've been wearing for years. Like, I can change my nail color every single day, but blah blah blah. So anyways, The Artist's Way was at that time a really good way for me to stay inspired, and it kept me just doing things that were good for my soul on a daily basis, like journaling and mindful meditation and self-care and things like that. And self-care is a thing that's very important during your spiritual awakening. Taking self-care baths, maybe going to get a new haircut, or have your makeup done, like the whole new you, like get a whole new you look done or something, or call up a girlfriend and go see a girlfriend's movie, or join a spiritual group, or go to a spiritual class. I started doing Reiki, and I absolutely love it, and I probably pronounced that wrong, but everybody pronounces it differently, so, you know, don't crucify me for it. But anyways, I started taking lots of spiritual classes and just being around like-minded people that were just like me. So when I was down, they kind of brought me back up again. So the most important thing when you're feeling like your spiritual awakening is just like at a low and you need to like re-spark the flame, those are some things you can do. Like I said, self-love is just super important. Be patient with the process and be patient with yourself. I'm going to get into the 7 signs, like the 7 symptoms that you are going through a spiritual awakening. I will show you the few books and meditation and ritual books also in that video that I use during my low points that help me stay inspired. Some YouTube things I did, videos I watched, mantras, daily, motivational videos, etc., etc., etc. when I do the next video. But we are going to talk about the symptoms, things you might be feeling if you're going through a spiritual awakening, and we'll also get into the basic of chakras and how all of that ties in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on spiritual awakening and you're enjoying the series. If you are, please let me know in the comment box below if there's something in particular that you would like to see, or if you have any questions. I will respond to every comment that I get, so let me know. And remember to please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for your time, and thank you for watching this entire video. If you watch this entire video, give me a blue heart in the comment box. Namaste. Today's products are brought to you by Maca Earth. Adaptogen and Calm are two supplements that I myself take on a daily basis. As a social media influencer and a YouTube creator, sometimes I myself get nervous making videos, and I find these products help keep me calm. But I think we could all use a little more calm in our lives.